This video is sponsored by World of Warships.
My name is Desmond Miles. I'm a prisoner of war. A war I never knew existed. Waged by two groups I never thought were real. Templars and Assassins. 1,000 years of history flowing through my veins, brought to life by this machine, using me to search for something. Call it the Apple, one of many so-called pieces of Eden. They want to make us all their slaves. I met someone. Her name is Lucy. She's gone now. She's taken away by that bastard Warren Vidic and his Templar masters. All I know is I need to get out of here.
Quick and succinct opening to catch people up on the story from AC1 so we don't have to play it because, oh boy, was the first game a slog. This red wall has a lot of interesting messages written by Subject 16, is really eerie way of starting the game. Most of what is found on the wall all have vague references to the end of the world, some math equations expressing infinity and chaos, and some phrases in Chinese just to seem more cool. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to know more about everything on this wall. It's a great way to show how mad the Animus drove Subject 16. A reason Desmond didn't go mad in the Animus is probably because he was playing World of Warships in his downtime. World of Warships is a free, team-based sea battle game for PC. The game features over 400 historical ships that you can control in beautiful maps and in unique living landscapes. You can also customize your own ships to your liking or to perform better. There are more than 44 million players already working together on the open seas. World of Warships also boasts 4 unique warship types. They've got the destroyers that rely on their speed, maneuverability, and stealth, battleships that have the thickest armor and the heaviest of guns, cruisers, universal ships capable of varied tactics, and aircraft carriers, the masters of reconnaissance and devastating airstrikes. You can download World of Warships using the first link in the description or in the pinned comment. If you register now through the link below using code BOOM, you'll receive a giant starter pack of goodies including 200 free doubloons, 2 ships, the St. Louis and premium ship Emden, 20 Restless fire camouflages, 2.5 million credits, and 7 days of a premium account. Remember to use the link below with code BOOM and get started sailing today.
Give him here.
Did we really need to see Ezio's birth? Probably not. But being there from start to finish with his life has made him go down as one of the most loved characters in gaming.
Get up. Let's go.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna need a second.
I would too if I just had to relive a birth and remember it.
Is it Animuses or Animi?
Love that Desmond doesn't really understand what's at stake right now. It's just kind of being a goof. It's a nice little touch that Desmond can't really fight yet. All he can do is punch.
After what those Templar bastards put me through, I'm ready, willing, and able.
Desmond doesn't even hesitate, just ready to go right away. Sometimes it's better just to go all in than sit and deliberate.
I'm sorry, where are my manners? I'm Sean Hastings. This is Rebecca Crane.
They're touch and go throughout the entire game. Don't worry, Sean, we still love you.
Actually, I prefer Animus 2.0, since baby's twice as awesome as anything you'll find at Abstergo.
Some nice in-universe reason for all the gameplay and UI adjustments between AC1 and 2.
What's done is done, Desmond.
Don't dwell on the past, accept and move forward. There he is.
Insieme per la vittoria!
Ezio's first words we hear is basically the way he lives his entire life through the Assassin's Creed. He's got to get his lip scar somehow, right?
I've no money for this doctor of yours.
Ubisoft has their fun every now and then with the stereotypical Italian gesturing.
It is a good life we lead, brother.
The best. May it never change.
And may it never change us.
The best title card to any game ever. Is it completely carried by the score? Yep. But I don't care. It's beautiful and always fills me with joy.
May I come in?
Fine, but only for a minute.
A minute is all I need.
Indeed.
Well, wait. That came out wrong.
Ezio is so well established as a young, relatable teenager that we can all just relate to. This setup makes the eventual crash hit all the more. And who hasn't said something this embarrassing to a partner before?
Your behavior is unacceptable. It reminds me of myself when I was your age.
Father vindication.
Buongiorno a voi, madre. Come state?
It's explained as a glitch in the Animus that some Italian slips through here and there, which I love as it spices up the dialogue and helps immerse us more in the culture of the story.
Still recovering from last night?
Even a game in 2009 had some pretty banging facial animations. I mean, come on, I know I've made that exact expression before.
You should find an outlet.
I have plenty of outlets.
I meant besides vaginas.
Ezio has a wonderful open relationship with his family. I'm blessed to have an open relationship with my parents as well, and would suggest giving it a shot if you're not with yours.
I'd rather contribute more practically, more directly.
Like making a blade that will kill hundreds of people.
I loved him.
No, Claudia. You only thought you did.
He should suffer for what he's done.
Did you all see Ezio cast that Jedi mind trick on Claudia? I mean, there was nothing subtle about that hand wave.
Oh, Duccio.
Oh, Duccio.
Give it here.
Ezio's cool and suave and around people like him, but throw him around those less fortunate, he folds over, which is pretty realistic to people nowadays. Love how much Desmond looks like his ancestors. I mean, of course he does, but the designers did it really well between Ezio and Desmond, giving them shared features like their nose, but keeping them distinct from each other. You can never go wrong with a nice suit-up montage, especially when paired with this banging score.
Understanding, Ezio. I'll clear everything up.
Mysterious hooded man foreshadows betrayal.
Don't worry, Ezio. Everything is going to be fine.
Well, he wasn't lying. Everything was fine from his side. He got exactly what he wanted.
You are the traitor, Roberto, and one of them. You may take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear!
A promise that is fulfilled. This is why you gotta say what you want out loud. Manifest it.
Father!
Roger Craig Smith's performance as Ezio is just immaculate.
Blade is designed to ensure the commitment of whoever wields it.
Ezio, just like Desmond, is ready to go all in being an assassin before he really knows what he's signing up for.
I was only having fun, Ezio.
Leonardo's a funny guy.
What of the body?
Bring it inside and put it with the others.
Back in the old days was a weird time, and Leonardo, a weird dude, but hey, ethics weren't as stark as they are today, and someone's gotta figure out the human body.
Be attending an unveiling tonight of Verrocchio's latest work.
So you ready for some reaching? Leonardo da Vinci was a pupil of Verrocchio in real history. Uberto is going to an unveiling of his latest work, so I find it poetic that Leonardo and Ezio unveil their latest work to him in the form of the hidden blade and assassin skills, respectively. You can see and feel the rage inside Ezio with this kill. No respect, no honor, just brutal vengeance for its own sake.
The auditori are not dead! I'm still here! Me! Ezio! Ezio Auditore!
Pretty badass of Ezio to murder this high-profile figure in broad daylight, scream out his own name, all while surrounded by guards, and the camera work just makes this all the better. Mario really wearing his heart on his sleeve with that assassin insignia on his shoulder.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario!
They just couldn't resist, could they?
But I just don't have the time or money to fix things up. Guess that's life, huh?
Sad reality noises.
I trust you believe me now?
Yes. My father was an assassin.
Relaying this exposition over training is much more engaging than just walking around the city and listening to them talk.
It seems my plan is hit something you understand. Here is dead Emden. Now we gotta have
Mario is remarkably calm for someone in the middle of a war zone.
May the Father of Understanding guide you.
May the Father of Understanding guide you.
Nothing is true. Everything... Oh, whoops.
Pezzo di merda! Vorrei solo che avesse sofferto di più!
Again, Smith impresses with his performance. Though this is basically the end of his arc, it's still great to see what he grows into from this rage.
Do you think he would have shown either of us such kindness?
You are not Fieri. Do not become him.
Never stoop to your enemy's level.
Do you know what that means?
E a puttane!
What? It's true.
Nice.
You must be Ser Ezio. Am I right? Uncle! I like this architetto!
He gets very observant when he can smell mud.
This is a nice bit of levity from all the seriousness that has been going on for the last 3 memories.
The past 2 years have been kind to you.
But you are not the same at all, are you?
These two are such chums. Ezio said nothing, but Leo picks up on his new energy and understands things have changed. Leo did say that he uses bodies for research purposes.
Here is your money.
The way he catches his money is baller, but like, he could have just accidentally swatted the pouch off the roof. Confidence, I guess. You'll notice I don't use the armor of Altair. That's just because I love these default robes so much, but that doesn't take away from how badass those robes are and how fun and well designed each of the assassin tombs are.
I can't wait to go home to Elena and tell her how much gold we made tonight.
Humanizing the bad guys. These soldiers just doing what they're told doesn't make them inherently bad. It's normally just the ones at the top that are awful.
Do not underestimate our enemies, Francesco. Or have you already forgotten how your son was murdered?
Jacopo is probably the most wise and smart of these Templars, and since Templars are bullheaded, it's what gets him killed, sadly.
May the Father of Understanding guide us.
May the Father of Understanding guide us.
Requiescat in damn it, so close.
There he is. Time to strike.
As stupid as it is, you gotta respect the top of the order being the ones to get their hands dirty.
Gods! Gods!
No one's coming for you, Francesco.
I am in your debt once more, my friend.
Anytime, Ezio. Anytime.
Everyone deserves a friendship like these two.
Fede dovrebbe dare conforto, non pena. Ora sei libero dalla paura.
Che tu possa al fine trovare riposo, nel corpo e nella mente.
In a short amount of time, Ezio's become wise beyond his years, and it's beautiful to see the respect he shows his enemies. For those who watched trailer footage, we believed that this man would be dying at Carnivale. Nice of them to switch it up on us, so it wasn't a spoiler.
You make excuses and insult us? How do you expect me to respond?
I don't know.
You know, I feel really bad for Jacopo, mostly because of that sad delivery.
I know you're only doing as you're told. So if you release me, I will spare your lives.
See what I mean from earlier? Even Ezio recognizes that fact about these soldiers. Ezio's strong as shit lifting the entire wagon. With how samey the gameplay can get from time to time, the set pieces here and there are a nice breath of fresh air.
Madonna.
Oh, you're good. The ladies must like you.
The men, too. At me.
It would be my pleasure to welcome you.
I look forward to enjoying your hospitality.
With all the literal stabbing, I forgot about Ezio's affinity for the other kind.
That woman is as powerful and dangerous as she is young and beautiful.
Sempre come una donna per me.
This is the harmless talk the phrase boys will be boys should relate to.
Something happened in 1321, yeah? Polo encountered the assassins while visiting Kubla Khan. This must be when he obtained the Codex. Now, when he returned to Italy, he passed it on to Dante. Now, I've no idea what brought the two of them together. I reckon we could find out.
Shaun is abrasive, but it's because he really cares about his work. I mean, listen to the way he goes off about Marco Polo and the Codex.
But sometimes, there's no other way. Sometimes, Desmond, people have to die for things to change.
I'm still wrestling with that thought process. If you see my last of his video, I go into deep detail on why I feel so strongly that killing is never the answer. But then there's the other side of the coin of examples where people had to die to protect the greater good. It's something that I don't think for as long as we live we'll be able to ever come to a consensus on. Let me know how you guys feel about this topic down below.
You've picked up every single one of Ezio's skills.
Back in 09, this was just cool sci-fi tech. Now with Neuralink becoming a possible thing in our lifetimes, downloading information and abilities might be something we get to experience.
What the hell?
Woo! Altair throwback.
Wait a second. Why aren't I following Altair?
I don't recall if they mentioned this in the first game, but this comment by Desmond confirms that the way we experience the game is the same as Desmond does. Third-person camera, UI, everything. Desmond checks to make sure his finger's still there. The time of the Animus is definitely getting to him. Learning from past mistakes.
We spared no expense in its design.
I hope you didn't do it like John Hammond. We all saw what happened to his park.
Di nulla.
Yes, I didn't miss the hug.
Go fetch Bianca and be quick.
What, are you gonna hack off her leg?
Your work in Florence and the rest of Tuscany. Good work, too. If a little unrefined.
Then you know why I'm in Venezia.
I can guess.
I like that Ezio's ego doesn't pipe up to Antonio calling his skills unrefined.
Un cafe.
What's cafe?
An interesting concoction.
I'll never not enjoy these little interactions about stuff we are so used to nowadays.
I was hoping you could help me with something.
And that would be?
I want to learn to climb the way you do.
Oh.
Ezio's a working man, can't have any distractions, but I do understand her disappointment.
In bocca al lupo.
Crepi lupo.
They don't translate it for us, but this saying is an Italian idiom used in theater and opera meaning good luck. Its literal translation is into the wolf's mouth and may the wolf die, which directly applies to the goal of this mission.
I feel the need to involve myself more directly. The Pazzi disappointed us in Firenze.
I feel him. Having things go awry when you're not in direct control of it stings a lot more than if you were.
We need to scout the palazzo carefully. See it from every angle. We just might find a way in. I know of a tall campanile behind the palazzo. Or we might find a way to climb the back of the basilica. Do you have any ideas?
I assume the front door is out.
And this is why we love you, Ezio.
Does it work, Leonardo? Can it really fly?
So cool that Ubisoft used a lot of Leonardo da Vinci's actual codex to bring these designs to life in the game and fantasize about how they might have worked. This is just dialed up to 11 in Brotherhood to such a fun degree.
Of course! Genio!
What is he doing now?
Nice confirmation that Ezio doesn't understand a thing that Leo is ever doing, but just rolls with it. It's ridiculous, but just plausible enough to not feel out of place and be fun.
You are too late. The Doge is dead.
Well, he somehow managed to get his king to the opposite side of the board and was still alive, so good on him for the effort.
Forgive me, Signore. I tried.
What a shit situation to be in. Your savior being moments late and apologizing for not being able to save you moments before your death. But hey, at least he apologized.
In fact, it seems to be a kind of arma da fuoco.
Ubisoft really just said, let's take all of Leonardo's possible inventions and make Ezio use them. And I'm here for it. The Carnivale cape is super sexy, and I'm sad we can't use it the whole game. Where did they get King Murad's mask from? Jacket from Caspian? These games are simple actions of what we do all the time, but with a fun narrative spin on them that shakes up the usual mission structure of, go kill these guys. And we play capture the flag, like what?
Don't know if I should kiss you or slap you. Maybe both, just...
Never a bad idea to cover all bases, and it's always a good day to kiss the homies.
Aha!
After fighting with him, I'm not surprised in the slightest that Bianca is a sword.
We should celebrate this victory! Ea putane! What? It's true!
10 years hunting the men responsible. So close to the end now, but no closer to understanding what any of it was for.
It's this kind of reflection that I've been aching for since Ezio flipped his Y switch after killing Vieri. It's nice to see him contemplate and realize that killing all these men has brought him no peace. You know I gotta win the sauce.
But what's in this box?
What's in the box?
Theodora! What? What are you all doing here?
Avengers! Assemble.
You are all assassins?
I can understand him not knowing they were assassins, but some of them? Volpe? Mario? Mario even tells him he's an assassin. Either way, it's nice to see that to be an assassin, you don't need a hood with a beak.
Where other men blindly follow the truth, remember,
nothing is true.
Where other men are limited by morality or law, remember,
everything is permitted.
The phrase is a really simple way to approach life, and I really like it, but the way the assassins live by it is hilariously hypocritical. But the hypocrisy of it is what I enjoy about it so much, because it proves that not even the best of us are infallible, and living that open and free as human beings is impossible. I like it as something to strive for, but to understand that reaching it is unrealistic and impossible.
This only hurts for a while, brother. Like so many things.
Thank God they got rid of the finger-cutting tradition. For one, it seems a little much and culty, but it's also a funny, humbling reminder of how aspects of tradition, religion, and cults can be born. Spoilers for Assassin's Creed Origins, but Bayek lost his ring finger because of a limitation of the mechanical design of the hidden blade. And not to feel embarrassed, Bayek decided to make the finger sacrifice tradition to show how hardcore you are about their club, when in all reality, it's not necessary. It's still wonderful that the ceremony is punctuated by a leap of faith, as following the Assassin's Creed truly is just a leap of faith.
Explain to you why the Earth goes around the sun.
You mean the sun around the Earth?
Again, with their gaps in knowledge. Everyone's in pain, but Leo is the one that sees insight among the apple and tries to gain as much as he can from it before it's gone.
Silenzio! Silenzio! 22 years ago, I stood where I stand now and watched my loved ones die, betrayed by those I had called friends. Vengeance clouded my mind. It would have consumed me were it not for the wisdom of a few strangers. It taught me to look past my instincts. They never preached answers, but guided me to learn from myself. We don't need anyone to tell us what to do. Not Savonarola, not the Medici. We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Too many of you gladly give it. But it is our ability to choose whatever you think is true that makes us human. There is no book or teacher to give you the answers, to show you the path. Choose your own way. Do not follow me or anyone else.
You'll notice I skipped all of Bonfire of the Vanities but this moment. That's mostly because it was a DLC that wasn't intended to be part of the main game and is super boring. But this speech is something that should be. It's a beautiful full circle of Ezio's arc and should have been the moment when his arc completed. What makes this better is that he describes the Assassin's Creed in terms that are more reasonable and understandable versus the culty phrase.
I thought I was beyond this, but I'm not. I've waited too long, lost too much.
Now, after that speech, we thought Ezio was the perfect man and assassin, but when confronted face to face, he feels all that old vengeance flow back through him. He knows this kill serves a higher purpose, but feels guilty about enjoying the kill. Ah, it's the same thing Altair did.
No more tricks, no more ancient artifacts, no more weapons. Let us see what you are made of, old man.
You know, I'll let him have this. Being a grown wise man for over 20 years, being respectful and killing targets quickly, he's allowed one moment to feel himself and fight the man that murdered half his family.
Get it over with, then.
No. Killing you won't bring my family back. I'm done.
After all those heated feelings of vengeance resurfacing, Rodrigo gives Ezio time to think and calm down through fighting him. It's a good reminder that we as humans are weak in moments of rage and anguish. We are bound to make stupid decisions when our brains are clouded with one emotion, and we can't take time to reflect and make a measured choice.
We must speak.
Minerva looks straight into the camera, which is the Animus's camera, which is Desmond, which is super freaking cool.
Your minds were not yet ready.
And when this scene played back in 2009, our minds weren't ready either. This entire scene was a trip way back in the day.
You anchor him, but please be silent, that we may commune.
Ezio's place in the story being this simple and going through all he did just for Desmond to hear this message is awesome, gives me goosebumps every time.
Listen.
And again, Minerva knows exactly where the Animus camera is, and talking directly to Desmond blows my mind. And that also means that cutscenes in the Animus give the actual users cinematic angles just like we see.
The rest is up to you, Desmond.
And that's when we all shit bricks as we got confirmation that she was talking to Desmond.
What the fuck?
Desmond perfectly sums up all of our reactions. Could you imagine if they just ended it there, having to wait a whole year for Brotherhood to see what happens next? The mystery and confusion wrought from that scene was such an awesome time to be on the internet and an active fan. It breathed so much life into the community and ushered in the era of weird conspiracy theories and creepy feelings about the world of Assassin's Creed. Boy, does it feel good to whoop ass as Desmond in the modern day.
The Templars aren't our biggest threat. Not by a long shot.
So what, the sun is? What's it gonna do, cook the Earth?
I doubt it, but I don't know. There's been some speculation that the Earth's magnetic field is weakening. A sufficiently strong flare could flip the poles and cause a geomagnetic reversal.
And how fucking wild is it that Ubisoft hinged their modern day story on the 2012 end of the world phenomenon, and to have to release their next 3 AC games once a year just in case the world did end? And I mean, hell, for all we know, Desmond Miles, spoilers for AC3, did save the world, and this is the story about that. But we aren't really allowed to know, so they hid the truth in plain sight with this game. I know, a stupid theory, but at least the modern day story had something actually going on in its narrative at this point in the Assassin's Creed franchise. You're probably thinking, wow, that was such a short video, there's gotta be so much he missed. To that I'd say, maybe. I'm not all-knowing, but to me, replaying this game surprised me with the amount of, I want to say filler, but that word has such a negative connotation attached to it. I guess for what I'm feeling is story-deprived missions? I'll go into that in a minute. Last I played AC2, I was young. Younger still when I played through my first time. And I'm sure that's the case for many of you as well. Assassin's Creed 2 had the benefit of releasing in a video game market that was overhauling almost every type of genre due to the massive jump in power between the generations. That, with a great story that maybe could have been told better, and our nostalgia being too kind to this game, we remember AC2 as the best in the series. That's where I was at replaying the game for this video. It was a humbling experience to say the least. We so often just remember the good parts, the good times associated with something long gone. Even now, when I think back to me playing as a kid, I romanticize those long nights running atop Venice's rooftops. And those memories are beautiful, and I will cherish those nights forever. But it becomes a problem if you let it skew present-day judgment, like I did. Now, I can approach the rest of this conclusion from 2 standpoints. Speaking on it from a critical standpoint with our modern understanding of what we believe we want out of a video game, or from back in 2009 when we played it and what that experience was like. I'm not 9 anymore, and I've learned a lot about storytelling, video game structure, and at least a lot about what I desire out of a video game. So this might err on the more critical side of conclusions. But hey, constructive conversation will always beat out blind loyalty. I know, ironic when I say that, as this channel is formed around the idea of almost blindly looking for the good in what might otherwise be trash, but I'll digress and start actually talking about Assassin's Creed 2. For at least the first 4 memories, we get to watch a brash teenager get his entire life changed in the course of a day and be forced to learn how to use murder as a tool responsibly and respectfully. And that's my biggest disappointment replaying the game. After killing Vieri, it's one little reprimand by Mario, and Ezio turns into his wise, respectful assassin self. I know the game jumps years at a time, and it's not hard to believe he did some soul-searching off camera, but how much more powerful would it have been if it took till near the end to complete his arc? To go through all of that with him just to regress for a moment at the end with Rodrigo. It was the decision of speedrunning his arc that a lot of the game to me feels devoid of story. All of Florence, Tuscany, and the Slog of Venice is just plot, really. Do this to get closer to killing the bad guys. And it isn't very engaging because Ezio doesn't grow at all. Lengthen the arc throughout the whole game and have each Templar he murders relate to his position and his personal story, and maybe our thoughts of this being the best Assassin's Creed game would be vindicated. Am I being harsh? Am I being too negative for the channel that's supposed to beam positivity? Maybe. But not always is blind praise the best way to approach these videos. With objectively bad games, yes. But with a game we all hold so dear like Assassin's Creed 2, I think speaking constructively, at least for a moment, suits it better. Even with the disappointment of the story, it doesn't take away from the overall amazing product that is this game. The story told here is still a great one, just told in a funny way. That in tandem with everything else it accomplishes is what really made it such a masterpiece for its time. Being able to climb virtually any surface was nutty, basically pioneering the stereotypical open world of viewpoints and collectathon, and bringing us one of my favorite video game scores ever. I'd be remiss not to mention the stellar music used throughout the entire game. The music always hits just right in conjunction with its scene, and I'll catch myself throwing on Venice rooftops or Ezio's Family at least a few times a year out of nowhere. And I've got to talk about Ezio's Family. That track is... what a beautiful piece of music. Easily my favorite single track from any video game ever. It's beautiful and so impactful from a narrative standpoint. Everything Ezio becomes is because of family, which is why I love that the track has become the de facto Assassin's Creed theme. And I think it's perfect since after he lost his family, he was able to find a new one among the assassins. Ezio's Family is the Assassin's Creed, and it fills me with so much joy that every game after AC4 has had a rendition of it in their OSTs. But Assassin's Creed 2 is nothing without its fantastic characters, chief among them one of the best leading men of the PS3 360 generation. This game isn't what it is without Roger Craig Smith as Ezio. The charisma coming from this man is astounding and something we all wish we could pull off. It's a special thing getting the opportunity to follow quite literally from birth to death the story of a character, and not have his characterization falter one bit throughout. I think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself though. I'll save that praise for the Revelation and Embers videos. Though I have my complaints about Ezio's character arc being rushed, it doesn't take away from the power of his story. My favorite aspect being that the entire time he was focused on family. In the start with his brother, doing everything he can to save the Male Auditore, wanting to sail to Spain with his mother and sister, picking up his father's work, and standing by the assassins. Ezio is a man whose life is run by devotion to family, and if you've seen my other content, you know how important family is to me. So it's very cathartic to play as a man who does everything he can to avenge and protect what's left of his. But even beyond that, Ezio is just a likable ass dude. From his way with the ladies, to his funny jokes, to the rapport he shares with Leonardo. When I was younger, I remember wanting to be just like him, and I mean, hell, even now, I wouldn't mind it. At any stage of his story, really. I can't wait to talk about his character more in future Assassin's Creed videos, but I want to save a little bit to talk about for those videos. Assassin's Creed 2 is still a great game. It just hasn't aged as well as we might have hoped. When it succeeds, it does in spades, but the cracks are more obvious today than they ever were. I think my big takeaway from this experience with the game is that sometimes things are better off left as memory, remembered fondly upon in the safety of our minds.